as an English teacher in Richmond, California. So everybody went their separate ways, and I became famous. And I put a record called "Wanna Go Back" with all the songs I did in the Grapes of Wrath in the '60s, and I made a record songs like we did a song called "Expressway to Your Heart." I've been trying to get to you. That's a great, great song. "Higher and Higher" by Jackie Wilson. "Hold On, I'm Coming." "Ain't No Mountain High Enough." My daughter comes out. We do Tammy Terrell and Marvin Gaye. And, I love that old corny stuff. And it's just great. We got a CD out. And, everything in life, it comes around full circle. Here I am, like 60 years old, and I'm redoing my songs I did with the Grapes of Wrath from my first band. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's a wonder. Rock and roll is great. It kind of keeps you young.
Do you think you're going to come out with some kind of cast album after the play?
I would think that there's probably going to be a record in that, because the worst thing I ever did, I sold my publishing, which I should have never done, and I sold my publishing about 5 years ago to, and then Lori and I had our little biffs and baffs. Who'd want? Try being married to me for 22 years, but I bought her a big house and. But you're selling your publishing. I should have never done it. When your Jewish accountant tells you something, you better listen. They're smart people.
Yeah, they are very smart people. But yeah, do we know when Jesse's album's going to be out? Does he announce that
Jesse
yet?
right now is working with Richie Zito. She's been hanging around with a bunch of people, and I think, to tell you the truth, the record's probably not going to be done until her boyfriend gets out of the Coast Guard because, she's 20 years old, and 1 week they're breaking up, and the next week she's out buying him things. I don't really know, She's just head over heels over this guy, and she puts him ahead of her career a lot. But I don't know. My wife's been helping her out tremendously, and we got some very talented people in Los Angeles think she's really good, and we'll see what happens.
Well,
I know one thing, she's not drinking anything. She doesn't really drink anyway, but that was an unfortunate situation on New Year's Eve. But now she's writing a song called DUI Blues, and everybody's crazy about it, so I don't know. She's a good little writer, too. Of course, she never asked me for any help, and I don't like that at all.
I was going to say that, this relationship with her boyfriend seems to be, awesome fodder for songwriting.
Well, yeah, she's writing a lot of stuff, I hate how much I'm loving you. She's like a young Joan Jett when it comes to 1 minute she's fighting him, she's writing these horrible songs about it, and then the next minute there's butterflies in the sky and rainbows coming across the, I don't know. To be 20 again, huh? How would you like that?
Yeah, exactly. To be 20 again.
When I was 20 years old, I was working at J.C. Penney's. You ever see J.C. as a receiving clerk? And the white sales, I never saw so many sheets in my entire life. I thought there was like 3 million sheets to each store. It was. I worked hard coming up. I quit the police department. Then I worked my way through UC Berkeley in California. My parents were always mad because I never graduated. But once I got a good lottery number and I wasn't going to get drafted, I went right back to my rock band.
Do you think that you'll go back and get your degree in college?
I don't really think so. But right now, I did a session, a teaching session, a songwriting session in 5 towns, and the kids were really captivated because I've got something to say about songwriting. I've worked with Tom Dowd. I've worked with some really amazing writers, and I've got a lot of things I can share with people that want to get into the music business, whether it be the technical end of things as a roadie or as a songwriter, as a lead singer, as a guitar player. It doesn't make any difference. You're going to be a guitar player, practice your scales. You're going to be a sax player, practice your scales. Just don't go out there and learn what you're doing on the radio, because what if somebody says, we're changing the key? Then you're stuck, because you only know that you don't know the scales in each key. There's a science, there's mathematics to music, and I was always the worst in math. And I pray every night that they don't change the key.
Well, do some of these younger people, recognize your songs at all, or?
Well, it's really great because when I was growing up, my father was out of World War II, and he was listening to, Benny Goodman and Glenn Miller and things like that. So he didn't, rock and roll came out in the 50s with Elvis Presley and Little Richard. So I grew up, loving Elvis Presley and Little Richard and stuff like that. So now, when these people started buying my records when they were teenagers, were getting married, their kids were actually growing up with Eddie Money. They got this club called the Ed Heads. They're all over the country, and they held up signs of me like Sports Center, and they put my picture up in front of their face with a wooden stick. They call themselves Ed Heads. They're all over the country. They're crazy. A bunch of college kids. The biggest song in college in the last 10 years, the biggest fraternity song is Take Me Home Tonight. And everybody knows Shakin' because it was on Guitar Heroes. And then the other one about the Grand Theft Auto, Two Tickets to Paradise was on that. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of these kids, I mean, to see a little 7-year-old girl sing Take Me Home Tonight, it makes you feel great. You know, it's like me doing Hound Dog or Don't Be Cruel by Elvis Presley. I'm going, wow, these kids know my stuff. That's really great. Got a lot of college kids into me. I don't know, 70s and 80s rock and roll today is like, you know, it's still so popular. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I think we were in an instance where we're kind of in a musical lull right now. There's so much music out there that doesn't sound so original, but back in the 70s and 80s there was a lot of original music.
Well, you got to also realize the black community has really got a lot of, these people have been under everybody's feet for so many years, and if you listen to rap music, I mean, the lyrics and the poetry, and it is really amazing. It's really got a deep message, and, you know, these kids are saying a lot. You know, I'm not really into rap that much, but, you know, I mean, it's a vehicle that can teach people about society, you know. I mean, people don't like Snoop Dogg, but he's got something to say.
So you like Snoop Dogg then?
I like Snoop Dogg as a person. I mean, his music is, you know, I don't think he could, I'd like to see Snoop Dogg try to do a Star Spangled Banner. I mean, to me, if you're a singer, do Land of the Free, Home of the Brave and get up there and do it. I mean, some of these people that, I don't think there's a singer, but then again, there's a place for people that can't sing that well, that are really very poetic and want to say something about their feelings about life.
Do you see anybody out there right now that you really like at all?
I like, Nickelback is a good band. I think Nickelback is good. My kids are listening to Incubus, and it sounds like an egg beater with the guitar pick on each ring. You know what I mean? Like, they're into, you know, my kids don't, my kids think that my other son plays guitar right now, and he's a pretty good guitar player. I mean, I heard on his voice machine, he plays all these riffs like a Joe Satriani, and he's an amazing guitar player. But now he wants to go to Berklee School of Music, which is going to cost me a fortune because he can't get a grant. I mean, I got 5 kids to raise here. They're all in Christian high school right now, and you know, I'm not out there doing like Madison Square Garden or the Silverdome like I used to do. So I'm supporting family. But I don't want to see my son go to Berklee School of Music for 4 years, come out, go back to California, and join a club band. You know, if he's going to take music, I just hope he does more than learns how to play better. I hope he learns something about music theory, about running the business, about managing a band, about booking a band. I mean, you know, there's a lot of jobs in music that don't always pertain to being on stage. I mean, I got 2 great roadies, and they do everything in the world. The guy that mixes for me mixed for Paul Rogers for 10 years, so he's going to make me sound good. I went out and did a show with some really big artists, and they all blared everybody. And I mean, John Waite is a great singer. I went out with Rick Springfield and Lou Graham. But everybody went out there and played so loud, he didn't realize that the people that were coming to the shows are not 18, 19 years old anymore. So I went out there, I played loud, but it wasn't like people were, their eardrums were bleeding, you know. I mean, it's like, you know, I made it loud, but not, you don't want to draw people out of, you know, I don't know. Loud is not always good. And believe me, Rick Springfield and John Waite, they were great, but I think at one show we did, they were a lot louder than me, and I just got a better review. I'm sure Rick's going to kill me for saying that, but she's not the one that was mixing them up there. It was somebody else. He was just singing his butt off.
Well, when I saw you and I saw Eddie. You saw you and I saw Rick over in Orlando a couple of years ago. I thought the mix was absolutely pretty good. So.
For Rick.
It was Rick and you.
Rick. One night though, we had one night where everybody, you know, everybody really juiced it up. I mean, John Waite is one of my favorite vocalists, but the band was drowning him out. You know, maybe you know what? I was backstage. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was just talking. As a matter of fact, I was talking to some people that were my age. So I got that all wrong. But Rick, I know the guy that mixes for Rick, and he's actually very, very competent. And sometimes he mixes my monitors for me. But when you have a good night, you're going to brag about it. You know that. I was good that night.
So yeah, we get to look forward to seeing you on tour all summer along with Jesse, and then maybe into the fall we'll probably see you more often as well. And
yeah, actually, I'll tell you one thing about Rick. What a great sweetheart of a guy he is. He did I Want to Be Jesse's Girl. My daughter's Jessie, and she came out and danced with him. He's a real sweetheart. And John Waite is married to is going with Alison Krauss right now. She's one of the best writers and the best backup singers in the business. So I was surrounded by some good company, and believe me, Lou Gramm, I mean, come on, Urgent, and God, I mean, how many songs has Lou had? And he came back from a really bad aneurysm, and his voice sounds better than ever.
Is it just going to be you and Jesse this summer, or are you guys going to be having...
Well, if we go out, I'd like to do some shows with Rick again. That would be great, and Lou and John Waite. That'd be great. Or I'd go out, maybe get on an Oreo Speedwagon tour, or Styx guys, I mean, if you're surrounded by a really big talent from the 70s and the 80s, more people would tend to go to a Rick Springfield, Lou Gramm, John Waite, Eddie Money show. Then just come to see Eddie Money, I mean, everybody's wives are working right now. People pulling up double shifts. Babysitting expenses are going up. I mean, there's certain states, like I was in Michigan, 14% of the people are on unemployment. I mean, they're having a tough time in Michigan, too. It was terrible, So I just hope everybody pulls out of this,
Yeah, I think everybody hopes
I'm still working. I really am, I think Obama's doing everything he can to turn things around. I mean, it's nice to see somebody in the White House with kids like Kennedy, though. Isn't it great, though? See somebody in the White House with children and, a place on the lawn. It's cool,
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, I think.
And I didn't even vote for him.
Yeah. All right. He instills that kind of sense of hope. I don't know if we could equate that to kind of the Kennedy's years, but...
Well, I can't, but, he's a very smart man. And his wife is very intelligent, and it's really nice to see this country moving forward in a multiracial direction. Also, and there's a lot of different people in this country that aren't just white. I mean, there's all kinds of people. You got to think about how hard these people are working at 7-Eleven, whether they're from Iran or India or stuff like that, packing cigarettes, changing sodas. I mean, everybody's trying to get ahead in this country. I always have a lot of respect for people to go out there and try to do something for their family and try to move ahead. This is still the greatest country in the world.
It is, and the opportunities that lie here in this country is just outstanding.
It's phenomenal. It really is,
Okay. And then, is there anything else you want to promote? I know we got the tour coming up this summer. We got the play. It's going on June 4th.
Well, I'm working on a record right now. With Vince Gill helped me out. It was a country record that we were going to put on Big 7 Records. We did a country version of 2 Tickets to Paradise with Vince, who was amazing, singing the second verse. Then we did another song called Give Me Some Water. And I did about 5 or 6 songs country. And I got to tell you, these people from Nashville, they can really, the musicianship in Nashville is unbelievable. So I got to go back and finish the country record up. Then I got to see what's happening with the play. Maybe I want to move it. It's like a Joseph's Magic Cloak. I'm really not trying to get on Broadway right now. This is just kind of like, people always ask me, what's it like? How'd you do this? How'd you do that? My kids always thought that I got a bad leg. I killed a sciatic. What is it? Sciatic? I don't know what this is. But, killing the sciatic nerve in my left leg, and it's the longest nerve in your body, and it never really came all the way back, to the bottom of my foot. So on my left foot, I can't really bend my toes. I mean, I don't have a slight limp, but, drugs and alcohol and just doing stupid things, I just don't want it to see what happened to me to happen to a lot of other people. Now I've turned into a drowning man that turned into a lifeguard.
And then when do you have a title for the new country album?
No, I think there was a title, but I can't remember what it was. I'm also putting out an oldies record too. What I'm doing, it's a long way to top. If you want to rock and roll, I'll Be There by the Four Tops, Jupiter by Train. I got somebody putting about songs together that he wants me to do, and there seems to be a lot of people that want me to do. Believe it or not, I feel like a top 40